Ladies and gentlemen, as co-founder and honorary counselor of the World Future Council, I would like to welcome you to the Future Policy Award ceremony for a toxic-free future. We are surrounded by chemicals, whether in food, medicine, or in products we use. Some of them are highly hazardous to the health of nature and humans. This is especially worrying when it comes to children. They are particularly vulnerable to the negative effects of hazardous chemicals because of their smaller size and still developing internal organs. There is a so-called silent pandemic of diseases and disabilities associated with exposure to hazardous chemicals and pollution in childhood. Therefore, chemical safety is emerging to an important role in protecting human and especially children's health and the environment. It requires sound management of chemicals and waste throughout their life cycle. Regulating and reducing exposure to hazardous chemicals is essential. As a business leader, I have long advocated for the responsible use of chemicals in consumer products for the sake of our children and generations to come. I am pleased that we are honoring with the Future Policy Award exemplary policies that protect people, especially children, and the environment from hazardous chemicals. And I encourage policymakers and business to implement measures for a toxic-free world in your countries and in your business, in the interest of current and future generations. Thank you very much.
Good evening and welcome to the Future Policy Awards 2023 ceremony.
In the name of the World Future Council, we would like again to welcome Your Excellency Ms. Steffi Lemke and Your Excellency Ms. Inger Andersen, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, and of course, all of you distinguished guests, welcome. So I know some of you are very hungry, so you got a little teaser right now, and I hope the first big hunger is stilled, because what we will do now is that I will tell you a little bit about the Future Policy Award before we get over to the award ceremony. So what's the Future Policy Award all about? It's the first award that celebrates legislation and policies that will benefit current and future generations at an international level. The aim of the award is to raise global awareness about these exemplary laws and accelerate action towards a just, sustainable, healthier, and peaceful societies. So that sounds like a big vision, but those actions are urgently needed in those peculiar times we're living. It's times of the multiple planetary crises of the climate crisis, mass pollution, mass extinction, and pollution. And none of us in this room are spared from this pollution because each and every one of us carries some sort of forever chemical in their body. And because pollution concerns all of us, this year's Future Policy Award is dedicated to the topic for a toxic-free future. And tonight is all about announcing the 4 winning policies that bring us one step closer to that future.
Thank you so much, Bia. Now, children have the right to live in a world where the air they breathe, the water they drink, the environments that they live are free from harmful toxins and pollution. Children and youth participation in policy and decision-making are paramount in achieving this vision of a toxic-free future. Good evening once again, distinguished guests. Now, before we head straight in, let me invite to you on stage the Executive Director of the World Future Council, Ms. Alexandra Wandel. Super great to have you here with us today, Ms. Wandel.
Thank you so much.
Now, championing and spreading effective future just policy solution is the principal goal of the World Future Council. Ms. Wandel, please tell us what is unique about this award?
Yes, the uniqueness of the award is that we are really looking into best practices in law and policy making at an international level. And the award was created in the year 2009 And our founder, Jakob von Uexküll, he created beforehand the Alternative Nobel Award. He realized that the problems of humanities were so big that it was not sufficient to award individuals. So he created the World Future Council to also award policies. And he always said, we do not always have to reinvent the wheel. We can learn from each other. There's so many good examples around the world. And this is what is unique, that we are looking into inspiring policies from all over the world.
Thank you so much. And also, how did this award develop?
Well, we started in the year 2009, and since 2010, we have luckily also decided to partner with UN agencies and also with the Interparliamentary Union, which unites parliamentarians from around the world. And with that, we have been able really also to reach a global audience. And we have also worked on a number of topics. And our council always decides on different topics that we work on. And with that, we've been able to already work on 12 different topics and also 12 UN agencies. So we're very happy to have found and awarded so many positive, inspiring examples.
Impressive. Another characteristic seems to be that each year the award focuses on a new topic.
That's right.
How true is that?
That's true, and we have, for instance, had the issue children's rights, biodiversity, oceans and coasts. On hunger, a key issue at the moment, to give you an example, we have, for instance, given the award to a policy that has been able to cut down child mortality by 60%.
Impressive.
With only 2% of the city's budget. So you can see how many positive examples exist, and we hope that many other policymakers also will take up these positive examples.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wandel, for this wonderful insight about the Future Policy Award.
Yes, thank you so much. And let me just conclude by saying thank you so much also to our partners. We're very grateful, of course, to the Federal Ministry of Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety and Consumer Protection, the Federal Environmental Agency of Germany, also the Michael Otto Foundation, Minamata Convention, and UNITAR. And also to say our co-founder, Dr. Michael Otto, he has not been able to come here tonight, but he has a wonderful speech, how business and also how policymakers can really make a significant contribution for a chemical-free future. And it's available on our website. So I recommend you to also watch it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, our team have prepared a video about the significance of this topic. Let's enjoy watching.
Children are our greatest treasures. We strive to protect them and to ensure they have every opportunity to develop into healthy and well-adjusted members of society. But unseen dangers lurk. Everyday objects harbor silent threats. We are threatened by an invisible pandemic caused by toxic substances that surround us in the objects we use in our daily lives. These hazardous chemicals, found in our most common items, infiltrate our lives, accumulating in our bodies, in the water we drink, and even in the soil. Children especially bear the brunt of their effects because their organs are still developing and are less able to cope with toxic chemicals. Consider the innocent joy of a child playing with a favorite toy, unaware of the potentially harmful substances, such as phthalates, that they contain. These are released over time, potentially causing cancer, infertility, or even brain damage. Even our food, in its convenient packaging, can carry PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. They seep into our bodies, threatening our health and damaging the environment. Our everyday cosmetic products can also have these chemicals. A striking example is skin bleaching creams, serving beauty standards of light skin and causing severe health issues. The impact is global. It knows no boundaries. We therefore need to strengthen the international management of chemicals, as well as establish forward-looking policy solutions on national level. Effective regulations should include all products, regardless of price or origin. Consumers must be educated on the dangers surrounding them and must easily be able to find accurate, understandable, and reliable information on the safety of their everyday products. We call on national governments to strengthen consumer rights, implement the Global Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling of Chemicals, GHS, and get inspired by existing legislations. We call on the chemical industry to search for alternative, green and safe solutions. We call on everybody to protect the health of children and future generations. Together, we can make the change.
Yeah, together we can make the change. And this is why we're here together tonight, all here in Bonn. Maybe some of you also just came for the delicious vegan food and to exchange a bit. But let's give also some numbers to what we just heard. So the WHO estimates that the number of deaths attributed to the contact with chemicals amounts to 2 million worldwide. And we can even assume that those 2 million are not way enough because there is a high dark number because we don't have the research. So this is a health issue. This is also why I'm standing here as a medical doctor. And even if those chemicals are everywhere, not all of us are affected equally. Women and children are disproportionately affected by chemical exposure, and this makes those negotiations going on here at ICCM5 on chemical management also a question of equity between genders and between generations. The Future Policy Award 2023 therefore includes products not only for children, but also the products that surround them. And let's quickly dive into the background of how this Oscar for policies is created again. Experts from around the world have nominated 40 policies from 27 countries. And over 30 experts have assisted in the careful screening and evaluation of all our nominations. And then the final selection was done by an international jury, which I had the honor to be part of. And we selected the winning policies together with 7 other experts from diverse backgrounds. So why here at the ICCM5, the 5th session of the International Conference on Chemical Management is the excellent occasion to celebrate the policies awarded. But now it is up to governments and decision makers to reinforce the cycle and to implement effective measures for prevention and for health promotion until we reach the goal of a toxic-free world.
Now, moving on to the awards, we have 4 categories. And tonight, we will have the honor of having distinguished guests from the United Nations who will be presenting the different categories and the winning policies. And to begin, I would like to call on stage Her Excellency Inga Andersen, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, to announce the winner of the toys category.
So toys, we all know them, and we know that anyone who has children in their lives or have been a kid know that, as Minister said early on, kids like to put things in their mouth and chew on them, especially when they are teething. And so whether it's rubber ducks, like we saw in the movie here, or the little video, or teething rings, or anything else, kids are likely to put it in their mouths. And parents and carers may not be aware of this danger that we also saw in the little piece. And whilst many toys manufacturers have begun to take these chemicals and phthalates out of toys, we also know that many, many, many are still in circulation with dangerous chemicals, chemicals used to make plastic more durable. And these chemicals can damage vital organs and the hormonal system, especially for little people who have these small bodies, such as our kids. And so I'm very, very pleased to be speaking about a country, I will reveal which in a little moment, that has set in place systems. It has established a national technical regulation on the safety of toys, and that includes chemical and physical safety standards. It includes test methods. It includes enforcement mechanisms to keep non-compliant toys off the market. And it has placed restrictions on 6 phthalates and provided foundation for changing consumer behavior. And this is not only a step forward for that country's children, but it's a real great example of a country that is dealing with this issue, and is a great example for countries that yet have to step into and present policies to deal with hazardous toys. So, drum roll, please. Because I have great pleasure to announce that Vietnam's policy to protect children by regulating hazardous chemicals is a winner of the Future Policy Award 2023 in the toys category. And so I would like to call on stage the head of Vietnam's ICCM 5 delegation, Mr. Pham Hoi Nam Son. Mr. Son, come up here.
Congratulations to Vietnam.
Moving on to the next category of cosmetics, I would like to call on stage Mr. Nikhil Seth, UN Assistant Secretary General, Executive Director, UNITAR, and fellow jury member, Mr. Nikhil Seth.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you. And before diving into the actual grant of this award and lifting the curtain on who gets this award, I'd like to say that all of you will agree with me that it's been a really magical evening. And the magic comes not only from the good wine and the good company, but most importantly, it comes from the cause that we are here to serve. And in this, I particularly thank the distinguished Minister of Environment from Germany, Inge Andersen, and all of you who made this possible this evening. I also want to pay tribute to Alexandra Wandel. I've been part of a jury for some years now, and I appreciate the work and the depth that she goes and her team goes into this before choosing the awards. And the granting of an award is a recognition, of course, to the people who are doing this wonderful work. But it's also a kind of beacon for the rest of the world to follow. Through this awareness, and I think the major problem in the areas we are going through today is a deep and profound awareness of the consequences of what is happening in this area around the world, and our inability to penetrate more deeply the political system and the people who could make a difference. So having said that, I now want to say that this award recognizes the fact that in all regions of the world, lighter skin color is associated with good looks and beauty. That's unfortunate because actually in most regions of this world, the most beautiful people live who may not have very light skins, but they are nonetheless very beautiful. But there is a social premium attached to light skins. And what happens with that premium is that people use cosmetics, which helps, they think, to lighten their skin. And the skin lighteners contain all kinds of harmful substances. It contains toxic chemicals like mercury in quantities that exceed normal health guidelines. And of course, the marketing system, the lust for profits, and the kind of market that is generated by this desire to become more light-skinned and therefore more beautiful is worth, this industry is worth billions of dollars. Bleaches and other things that are used for skin lightening weaken and penetrate the skin, increasing the risk of cancer and other diseases, and children through the system that we have, including through breast milk and food chains, can also get affected when cosmetics are washed off into water. So today, in recognition of this very negative consequences of a societal norm, which shouldn't be a societal norm, and action that has been taken to prevent cosmetics like skin lighteners impact on large sections of the population, particularly women and children, it gives me great pleasure to announce that this year's award is going to Rwanda, and for its ministerial order determining the list of cosmetics whose use is prohibited as of 2016. Through its policy in 2016, Rwanda has been able to remove many cosmetics from the market. The exact number is 13,596 units in 2020 alone. These contained hazardous chemicals threatening the health of people, as I described, especially women, fetuses, and children. There's also a special campaign highlighting the dangers of creams intended for lightening of skin using substances like mercury and hydroquinone. Skin irritation, damage to the nervous system, and cancer are just some of the risks associated with these chemicals. With the image of black is beautiful, the campaign also addresses the prevailing beauty standards that support internationalized colorism among populations of Rwanda. So it's a multi-pronged strategy to change people's values and attitudes, to control these substances which are causing so much damage. And it's a great honor for me to invite His Excellency Igor Caesar, Ambassador of the Republic of Rwanda to Germany, who told me before this evening that he's been in wonderful Berlin for the last 8 years, and he's had a wonderful term as Ambassador to Berlin. And I invite him to the podium to receive this award.
Congratulations to Rwanda.
Now moving on to the next. Let me invite now on stage Mr. Rolf Payet, Executive Secretary of the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Conventions, to announce the winner of the category Food Packaging.
Thank you very much. Every weekend is the responsibility of my youngest daughter to do recycling, which means sorting out paper, plastic, And she complains. And he says, Dad, there's so much packaging. Why do we need so much packaging? And I shake my head and I said, when I was young, we used to go to the shop with our bag. And in the 30 years I've grown up and traveled the world, the amount of packaging has increased, ladies and gentlemen, 100-fold. We need initiatives that can reduce the amount of packaging. We can live without packaging, I can assure you. And I'm introducing one country this evening who has done tremendous effort in trying to reduce packaging. And that country is Denmark. Now, maybe you don't know, but these packaging, they look beautiful, they look nice, they look attractive, they look colorful, but they contain a lot of chemicals, which is not bad for us, bad for the environment, but bad for children as well. And when we go shopping, think twice now, when we see all those beautiful wrappings and packaging. So to protect consumers, especially infants and unborn children, from endocrine disruptions and other health effects, Denmark has passed an order banning all perfluoro, sorry, I'm going to give you some complicated chemical here, but in the short is PFAS, substances in paper and board food contact materials. The Danish policy banning PFAS also called forever chemicals in paper and board food contact materials is an excellent example of a precautionary approach. Often we don't need to wait for the science to confirm. We have enough evidence, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to take action today and now. And this is why we are here at ICCM5. And I'm looking forward tomorrow evening for us to adopt this strong framework. As I've said before, a strong ICCM5 framework means a strong conventions, whether it's Basel, Rotterdam, Stockholm, Minamata, or the new plastic treaty that we are negotiating. So now I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Ulf Gron Sorensen, who is a Minister Counselor at the Royal Dutch Embassy in Berlin, in Germany, to join us. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Denmark. Hopefully this inspires more countries to regulate PFAS substances.
And last but not least, we move on to the last category of dental amalgam. And let me invite Ms. Monika Stankiewicz, Executive Secretary of the Minamata Convention, to come on stage to announce our last winner.
Wow.
Thank you so much, and what a wonderful evening. Thank you, Madam Minister, for hosting us today. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you are aware mercury is a highly toxic heavy metal that can have multiple and severe health impacts on people who are exposed to it, and especially children and pregnant and breastfeeding women. Mercury easily amalgamates with other metals, and this is how you make dental fillings. And I'm very pleased to announce the winner in the category of dental amalgam, and that is Nepal's decision regarding mercury-based equipment and dental amalgam of 2019. This Nepali law is one of the first regulations in Asia to ban the use of dental amalgam fillings for children under 15 years and pregnant and nursing women, while also aiming for a complete phase-out as soon as possible. Thanks to the law, most Nepali dentists have now shifted to alternatives, significantly reducing risk of mercury exposure and pollution. And laws like this inspired the most recent amendment to the Minamata Convention on Mercury to restrict the use of dental amalgam in vulnerable groups, and which came into force today. So let me now invite to the stage His Excellency Ramkaji Khatka, Ambassador of Nepal to the Federal Republic of Germany, to receive the award.
Congratulations, Nepal, and dear guests, again, a big applause to all the 4 winners. In case you're now super curious about those policies and the award winners, there should be a QR code popping up behind me. Yes, you can scan this one and you will find a brochure because this evening is paperless. So scan this QR code to find more information about the award winners. What a night. Let's take, I will stand on the side, yeah, so everyone can scan it. So, yeah. Let's take a moment and take also this ceremony as a reminder that the ecological crisis with pollution and destruction, they won't just disappear on their own. But we need policies for a livable future, and we don't only need the policies, but we also need the leaders who take those policies and implement them at a regional and a national level so that those international regulations and policies that we're discussing don't just remain empty words, but that they grow into actions and effective measures that actually protect us, the living generations, and the future generations. And we need governments who involve children and youth in the decision-making. Looking around this room, I don't see so many children and youth. And yesterday, here in Bonn, there was the Global Youth Forum, and they discussed the Global Youth Declaration on Chemicals and Waste. And let's make sure that those youth forums don't just remain tokenistic acts, but that all of you, all of us, we include youth really in our decision-making, and that we let them co-create the future that they will inhabit. And for that, we need courageous individuals that speak up for environmental and social justice. And I invite us all, everyone here in this room, that when we leave tonight, that you just stop for a little moment when you leave this door and that you think about one tiny little step, someone you haven't reached out to, a young person that you still need to talk to, someone that isn't yet at your decision-making table, that you will reach out to, and that you think about the step that you can take to come a bit closer to that toxic-free and fair and just future that we all would like to live in. And now, at the end, I would like to call again the 4 winners on the stage for a group picture. Don't forget your certificates. And in the meantime, you can all just lay back and start getting ready for dinner.
Yes, you will have the main course, and afterwards, a jazz group known as Jazz Kurinong. The Future Policy Award 2023 comes to an end. Thanks once again for coming, and I wish you all an excellent evening.
Thank you, and good night.